Hi guys, welcome back to Prem Talk. Yet another video, and it's a pleasure for me to be in front of you guys at this moment. Uh, Sadly, not in good moods, comsy comsa moods, if I may call them that. After Chelsea's nil-nil stalemate at the G-Tech Community Stadium yesterday. Yes, yesterday. So welcome to the video, and hope you guys enjoy. So the game yesterday, Brentford nil, Chelsea nil. Honestly, nothing much was learnt about Chelsea. Nothing new was learnt about Brentford because the game panned out exactly as I had predicted. And the only unfortunate thing here is the fact that yet again in another game we did not convert our good, great openings that or chances that we created. We didn't get a goal from them. Um, people missing left, right, and center. But the game was, in all honesty, a game of two halves. The first half was a ball fest, and not the complete ball fest of I believe there was a game some months ago. Yeah, some months ago. I think should have been back in January when Chelsea produced an XG of 0.01 or in the first half. Yeah, that was much more boring than this one certainly, but this one was up there in one of the most boring first halves, in which, as always, Chelsea possessed, with Brentford looking to sit in their shape and not looking to break their lines, just demanding that Chelsea break them down. So uh, which was something that their coach alluded to in his pre-match press conference. I That is Thomas Frank. He did mention the fact that the pressure was on Chelsea, rightfully so, because we are in a situation where we are fighting against four, five teams for the Champions League spots. So the pressure was on Chelsea to get the win, but getting a point out of such a difficult game at a difficult ground is not a bad thing, but it is more disappointing because I left the game feeling like we could have done much more, and the much more that we could have done certainly would have uh, at the start began with some of the decisions that were made that I believe were the wrong ones, in or the wrong one, because it was one specific one for me that really brought problems to us offensively and even defensively at times. So getting more into it, that the player in question here that I was not impressed by him getting in the lineup was Christopher Nkunku, because yet again another ineffective performance in a position that we all know by now he's not. It's not his position. He's not suited to it in the Premier League, let alone any league. So uh, it was a tough watching him play personally. Uh, Nkunku did a lot of nothing in that first half. Our attacks were breaking down at his when the ball arrived to him. I remember vividly two chances where I believe it was Gusto who found himself in midfield on the left hand side, played a ball across for Nkunku, and he was there with time and space, and what I expected of him, or of what I've seen of any wingers, let alone players in the Premier League this season, would be, taking the shot with their left foot across goal, or if you want to go near post, just take the shot, or um, make the make a pass to an open man. But he fumbled on the ball, and by the time he made his decision, this being the Premier League, you're always going to get crowded out. So that opportunity went, and another one where, granted, this one I figured it out when rewatching the game. When I did a bit of a rewatch of the game last night, I I noticed the fact that there was a ball in which, as we were playing out from the back, Robert Sanchez pierced the ball through from on the ground into midfield, and if it were Jackson who were playing up there, I believe he would have, you know, flicked the ball onto, it was should have been Moises Caicedo who was just by the side, and there was a runner already prepared to make a run on the left wing spot. I believe that that would have been Jadon Sancho. So Nkunku didn't control the ball. If anything, he was muscled out of it, and Brentford almost ended up getting a goal from that pass because it was intercepted. And I know many people will look at it as a Sanchez error, but that was that specific situation that was on Kunku, and not on Robert Sanchez. So generally, Nkunku was very disappointing in that in that half. He did a lot of zero work. Uh, you'll just see him jogging around. I wouldn't even say running around, just jogging around. Whenever he got the ball, didn't really do much with it. And you could see the difference the moment he went off at halftime and Jackson came on. Immediately, within the first minutes of the game, a ball was played in behind, and Jackson spun his man and was on the move. So Nkunku for me really doesn't cut it. I already mentioned previously and in previous videos that he doesn't cut it in this system. There is no position for him in what Maresca is trying to do, and I guess for me and many of the Chelsea fans are more frustrated by the fact that in the disappointing January transfer window, that it was him who ended up staying, and Joao Felix, who at least with him, though he wasn't doing much, he had a position in which he would have played in this system, and not only just a position but a number of positions where the manager would have used him in different positions, just like he's trying to do with Nkunku, and he would have been much more, well, at least that little bit more effective than what Nkunku is offering. Another disappointing performance was Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. I honestly did not notice that he was playing in that first half. In fact, there was, see, when the lineup came out, like as they always come out, I think at hour 15 minutes before the game starts, uh, there was a meltdown on Twitter by the fact that Maresca had rotated the squad, and he had dropped Pedro Neto, Cole Palmer, you know, uh, Nicholas Jackson, and I believe there was one more in there who he also dropped. And in came, the ones that people were really frustrated about was the fact that Keenan Dewsbury-Hall and Christopher Nkunku, two players who up to now we have learned that they really do not have any position in this system or whatever Maresca is trying to do. So there was a huge disappointment on X when the lineup came out. So it was no surprise that those two players ended up struggling severely in the game. I believe the other change that came in was Reece James, who came in for Marco Correa, and Tosin, who came in for Levi Colwill. Both players being rested as the reason for them starting on the bench. So back to Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. You as mentioned, he wasn't really effective, wasn't noticeable in the first half. In fact, I believe the only time I saw him was when Chelsea were defending, but I didn't realize that it was him, because it was just like, for lack of a better word, it was just like he added a body in there, to beef up the midfield. But on the ball, he really didn't do a lot. Very unimpressive and an inspiring performance from him. And the reason for this being the case, or me viewing it that way, is because soon as those two players came off, for Nkunku's case at halftime, and Dewsbury Hall, I believe it was in the 60th minute or so, an instant change was seen immediately, because Cole Palmer came in, Jackson came in, Pedro Neto came in for another uninspiring performer in Noni Madueke, and all of a sudden Palmer was picking up, was picking up the ball in pockets in which Dewsbury Hall should have been doing in the first half. Jackson was already, offering movement, dropping deep, going in behind, and threatening the Brentford back line. And this was even justified by the stats, in which we registered 8 attempts, I believe. Sorry about that. Yeah, as I was mentioning that, yes, you could see that even from the stats, that in the second half we ended up registering 8 attempts. Uh, Eight, I believe it was eight in the 70th minute, so it will have been 8+ attempts in that second half. And the first half was just, though it may show in the stats that there were attempts in the first half, but it was the more uh, the most that I can remember of the shots that we had in the first half was Tosin's off target header from Reece James free kick. So yeah, and yes, before forgetting the chance that Reece James had, from the corner, in which he headed, the keeper making, a bit of a routine save to prevent the Reece James header. So yeah, but an inspiring performance from Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, and it just emphasizes the fact that both these players uh, are fighting losing battles, in all honesty, because for me, there are two candidates who in the summer ought to be sold, not for the want of trying, but just because they do not really have any position to play in this system that Maresca is playing, and they're already replaced in the squad in any case. So because we remember we have Joao Felix in the books, and you have Estevao also coming in. That is Estevao William coming in from Palmeiras for next season. You have Andre Santos returning from loan. So definitely, definitely, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall has already been replaced in the squad. What frustrates me specifically the most with both of them is the fact that there's a lack of effort in what they want to do, in what they're trying to do in the system. So it even leaves you, as much as you try to support the players, uh, they have to show you some, at least with other players like I am one person who's highly critical of Noni Madueke, but the one thing that I'll never doubt of Noni Madueke is the fact that he's the best dribbler in the club at the moment in this squad. So anytime that he's on the ball, at least you are guaranteed that he's going to take on his man and whatnot. But so another disappointing performer was Jadon Sancho did more of the same, like what I've always criticized of him. That is, has a 1v1, dribbles past his fullback or his marker, and instead of him going for goal or creating an opportunity for an open man in the box, he tends to go back or pass backwards, and by the time he receives the ball again, people have already closed the space down that he had previously. So a lot of improvement needs to go towards Jadon Sancho. Uh, at least now to get some bit of happiness into this video, because it's been a bit of a downer. Very good performance once again from Nico Jackson, Cole Palmer. They came in very effective, very effective. Immediately you could see the threat that they introduced into the game without leaving, Pedro Neto came in, produced two very, very dangerous crosses with that left foot of his from the right side. And he also, I believe, had a shot that was saved by McFlecken. So very, very good performance from those three players. The defense did really wonderful. Malo Gusto was a bit, if I was to give him a rating, a 6 out of 10, not bad, but could have done better. And Reece James who played really, really well. Another wonderful game. He shut up Brian Belmo, a very dangerous threat for Brentford. Had him on lock, I believe, for the entire time that he was on the pitch. And Robert Sanchez was, comme si comme ça, another one. You always expect blunders from Robert Sanchez, but it's a big plus for him that that the performances of late have slightly improved, and it's yet another clean sheet for him, second one in a row. So it's a point. It's really 2 points dropped, but I always say that in such games, if you're not going to play at your best, just make sure you do not lose the game. And glad we ended up, keeping the clean sheet, taking the point away from home. And I believe it ended up being a good point because Manchester City drew the game in the Manchester Derby that they played after. So we are still in the top four. Though Newcastle now do have 2 games in hand on us. I believe they are 3 points behind us. So if they do win their 2 games in hand, they will go 3 points above us. Room for improvement is there for Chelsea. Room for improvement for Maresca. Uh, I love the fact that he's rotating now, but the only gripe that I have with him is the fact that he would have done it earlier when he had more effective players in the squad. So uh, that's it for today's video. Uh, sorry for it's been a bit of a downer, but honestly, that's how I felt since we ended up dropping points yesterday. So thank you guys for watching, and there will be another video. I will uh, may probably I will probably do a Champions League preview tomorrow morning and have it up for you guys before the day ends. Before the Champions League game starts. We'll do that, and then you guys will let me know how it went on the comments. Dropping likes and everything, and we'll continue to grow together. Because as mentioned, that I'm trying to also grow this channel and bring more content into the channel. That it was not only going to be a Chelsea content channel, but it was going to be general football. And this week being Champions League week and European European game week, there will be Champions League preview, then the Chelsea preview for our Conference League game that's coming up on Thursday. I believe you'll have that preview on Wednesday, and then you see we move on to the weekend. Where the next game we prepare for hosting Ipswich at Stamford Bridge. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you all so much, and see you guys later. Bye, and have a lovely day. Smile and be happy to the fullest.